Club NGMI.
We are so glad you made it to the show while I'm still fiddling with stuff. Welcome back to another week of Club NGMI. It's a big week. We got a lot to cover. A lot of joy, basically. Could it be euphoria? I don't know. So later on in the show, we're going to have Matty, DCLBlogger, on. I don't know if it's Matty, aka DCLBlogger. I don't know if it's Matty at DCLBlogger. We're going to figure out I'm going to figure out who Matty is. Lou's going to handle that conversation primarily. Trey did some due diligence. He has a few questions. I don't. I'm just going to wing it. So, Lou, let's start with you. How was your week?
Oh man, it was a crazy week, and I feel like every week we say that it's the craziest week that we've had, but this one really felt like it. We had the big story of the week was probably the mutant apes that came out, and a lot of people went crazy over that. They minted it was between 2.7 and 3 ETH depending on what time you did it, and now the floor is around 7. So anyone that did that seems to be positive EV so far. So that was the big story, I'd say.
Is it still 7? Is that where it still is?
It's like 7.1, 7.2, somewhere there.
I think it's been hovering right around that all day.
I like it. What about you, Trey? How was your week?
This was, man, this was easily the craziest, and like Lou said, we say that every week, but this by far was the craziest week that I've experienced in NFTs, that's for sure. Had some of my biggest sales this week. I know that some other people had some of their biggest sales this week. So yeah, just a lot of euphoria going around, that's for sure. But just trying to kind of soak it up and enjoy it while we still got it, right?
While we still got it? What are you talking about? No. That's unbelievable. I mean, Trey,
I mean, come on. This isn't gonna last forever.
I
hate to be the bearer of bad news.
We've got Matty, DCLBlogger, waiting in the wings, and you're fudding the NFT space.
Oh no!
Incredible
What's up, guys?
Stuff. Hey, Matty, how's it going?
Hey! Good to be here.
So
hearing some fun in the air. What's going on?
Oh no!
Oh yeah,
caught me at a weak point.
No.
Well, so Trey, as we know,
man.
the blockchain is free and open. You told us in our private chat you were making some moves. Care to share a move that you made? I don't want to share future moves, but maybe a move, and then we'll chit chat with Matty about metaverse, etc.
Yeah, well, I originally purchased 3 of the Punk comics back when they were just about to sell out, and I've been holding all of them since then. I got 3 of the mint passes. I ended up burning one of those tokens, or one of the comics, to get the DAO token, and then sold the other one back when it was like a 3 floor, I think. So going into today, I had 3 mint passes, 1 comic, 1 DAO token, and seeing that run up here just in the last couple hours, and seeing that I could collectively get 50 or so ETH from that, I decided to list pretty much everything. So I've sold 2 mint passes so far. I've got the comic listed for 14.5. I sold the DAO token, and then I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do with that last mint pass. Might keep it for some exposure, just going into reveal just for fun. But yeah, decided that it's too good to pass up.
Matty, I'm glad that you're here for Trey's last show, I assume, because he's going to retire to the Cayman Islands pretty shortly. Congrats, Trey. That's exciting.
It is.
All right, Lou, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah. So, Matty hit us up on Twitter, liked what he saw with some of our videos. So we decided, hey, you should come on the show. We'd love to hear what you have to say. So I guess first thing is, how did you get into NFTs, and were you in crypto before? Have you been, I believe you've been in the space for a while, Dangy drink, but yeah, tell us a little about your backstory.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me. It's just, I remember coming across one of your videos. I think it was it the one on how to mint through the contract, or there was something, I can't remember. My brain's a blur. But I remember going through it. And you guys do this videos every once a week as well?
Yep. Yeah, on Monday night.
Yeah. Awesome. No, it's just like I'm down to connect with anyone covering the NFT space seriously, and just like gathering a community and just chatting. I reckon it's awesome. I got into NFTs or crypto like in 2017. I remember watching Bitcoin going from like $500 to $1,000 and $2,000 and $3,000, and I'm like, screw it, I'll buy. So I bought some, and then I rode the crypto wave up and down. And I remember like in Jan 2018, there was this virtual world, and people were buying and selling virtual land, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I'd love to do some of that stuff. I didn't know they were NFTs. I just knew that they were doing it through blockchain, and no one really called them NFTs back then, right? No one really had a name to this space. People calling them crypto collectibles, people calling them virtual land, people calling them all sorts of things. I actually thought people would call them crypto collectibles when they go mainstream. But it looks like NFTs caught fire. But anyway, first 2 years of my NFT career from 2018, 2020 was me just hustling around buying and selling virtual land nonstop every day. I had a massive spreadsheet of people to hit up and negotiate with, and I was doing it consistently. It did pretty well, and then the industry started to spread across art and gaming and then collectibles, and then it just became this massive space. And then so I had to kind of pull out a little bit from DCL and explore everywhere else and get into art. I really didn't understand NFT art or the industry at all, but I knew it was going to be a big thing, so I had to kind of push myself to learn it. And yeah, now I find myself covering the space as a whole, and then blessed to be early, where I've got some leverage to use with my YouTube channel that was going on back then, and my Twitter and my social, and I have a network that I had for 3-4 years. So just grateful to have been early and still part of the space.
Yeah. Are you still deep in the Decentraland space? Would you? And I think a lot of people in our chat are less familiar with Decentraland, but do you say hang out in Decentraland during the day? Like, do you hop in every once in a while when there's certain events?
I'm always deep into DCL. Like, it's my hometown in a way, because it's like not only was I a big part of like personally buying and selling NFTs there, but I would always contact the founding team, and we'd have chats and we'd have calls, and we'd talk about, like, I would bring in my network and bring in my partnerships, and then get them launched on DCL and have HQs there. So I've always got like a special connection with DCL. I do go in every now and then, but currently I'm running my own project, the METAKEY, and then I've got my own venture fund launching next month, and then I have my own personal investments, and then I have the blog. So I don't really get much time to check out all that stuff, but I absolutely do keep in touch with like the community members. I know Kevin on Earth, Peanut Butter. There's a few other community members that I'm always in touch with that are pretty big in DCL and keep that place active. And I think at this point, it's hard to be really involved in one project. Like, I personally have to zoom out and just spread across and just be in the know and filter quality information. But it's just too noisy. It's too noisy to be a part of everything for me personally.
We got a question from Chris. We have a lot of people in our Discord come from the gambling or sports betting space. Is gambling something that you take part in Decentraland? I know I've been to the casino in Decentraland, so I know it exists.
I personally do not, but I used to play a lot of poker back in the day. So you can play these games and not gamble for money. Like, you can just play them for fun. So at some stage I'll go do that, because we have those sort of tournaments that we might run for the METAKEY community. I personally don't gamble, but they're pretty interesting at DG, because DG pays you to use their machines and to play. So you kind of get paid to gamble in a way, because it's kind of like, it's play to earn model, right? You get paid to spend your time there. It's less play to earn. It's more like just explore these projects to earn, really. And I know they do that model there, so that's why some people go there to just earn DG token and gamble, but I personally don't.
Yeah. And you mentioned with METAKEY, so you're focusing on that now. We've looked into that a little bit here. Josh, I think he's in the chat right now. He he originally, I think, linked our video in the MetaKey Discord, and you know, we have 3 versions of the MetaKey at this point. I believe I heard you talk about there's going to be a 4th one coming up as well. So can you just broadly explain MetaKey for people and why they should be interested in it? I know the floor now is about 2.5 for version 3. So it's got a little higher barrier to entry today, but there's going to be, V4 eventually that I'm sure is going to come in at a lower price point to start.
Yeah, the MetaKey is like an idea that came up 4 to 5 months ago. And I'm not sure if you guys were in the scene, you probably were like 4 to 5 months ago, but if you remember, it was mostly art and collectibles, and everyone was like, whenever I said the word NFT on Twitter, people would automatically assume art. And it's cool, like art industry is going to be big, but I wanted to switch the narrative and be like, well, NFTs are a piece of technology that can be anything. And so the MetaKey is that on steroids. It's kind of like an item, an NFT that you can own that will have hundreds and hundreds of things built into it. So we're working with Ethermon, we're working with Neon District, we're working with many, many other games where our MetaKey will give you some sort of maybe a stat boost, maybe aesthetically you'll look different in that game, maybe you'll have a special gun, maybe you'll have a special pet in each of those games, right? Not only that, but you go to Decentraland in our HQ, maybe it'll open a special portal where you can go, and after we have a conference with Mark Cuban one day, then you can go into an AMA section only if you have the MetaKey. There's a Meta Academy that we released yesterday, which if you can log in with the MetaKey, and it has like courses that we continuously update with members. So we got like a business development course, how to run your own scholarship business with Axie, like all these courses that we're curating with the community, which you can only enter and view with the MetaKey. And this basically we're just working in as many things as we can. It's going to be a Shopify discount app, which you can use the MetaKey to get discounts across different stores. So it's kind of like this thing where a one-time purchase should be, that's all you need to do, right? It's kind of like a loyalty card or a VIP access card, but it's crazy because it can turn into different items in games and all sorts of things. So it's kind of like, well, like all people always talk about utility and the lack of utility in the space. Ours is supposed to be that on mass level where the utility is so much that you for 0.2 Ethereum, it's integrated across pretty much every game in the space or every product in the space, where if you're entering the NFT world, it doesn't make sense not to have it. So hopefully our offering is so good that the millions of people will enter and there'll be millions of MetaKeys that people will own, not to resell, but to actually utilize, because it just gives them discounts, it gives them perks, it gives them education, gives them games, it gives them access to whatever they want in the space. So that's the idea. And so far it's not too bad. It's we've got some cool stuff that we've done.
Yeah, I heard about it when it was first coming out. And originally how it was worded to me was it was going to be something along the lines of like monthly airdrops. If you're holding the key, everyone gets this specific NFT. But it seems like it's turned more into like you said, a membership card where it's allowing you access to other items with around the NFT community overall. And so you think we're going to continue to see supply increase so that sort of anyone can be able to access?
So we're switching the model a little bit from what currently exists. So in the current form, what happens is people sell 10,000 avatars or X thousand of their NFTs, and they build, and then that community grows, and that's it, right? And that's pretty good for investors because the demand pushes up their investments, and that's fine. But what's going to happen is what happens if there's millions of users? There's going to be a need for millions of NFTs because everyone wants to get involved. The scalability of that product eventually hits a cap. And then you can't, if it's a utility project or a virtual world or a game or something, like you can't get more users. And so you kind of cap yourself. So ours is something different where we want to change it up a little bit, where with Axie and Infinity, what they did was they had Mystic Axies, right? Mystic Axies or Origin Axies were the very first Axies that you could have got. I think there was only like 3,400 or 4,000 all up. And that's it. They all have the Origin tag. And every other Axie after that was not an Origin Axie. They have now become a collector item where the cheapest origin axis is about 4 Ethereum. The cheapest Mystic origin axis is 30 Ethereum, about 100,000 USD. So they've separated, even though they're an unlimited NFT generating company, they've separated the collector base from the utility base, right? It's a very interesting economy that they've done. So we're trying something similar where the first 3 keys are your collector keys, and the supply of those are low. There's only 500 to 1,000 supply for each one of those meta keys. And if you own all 3 of them, then every time we do a MetaKey release, you'll get it for free. So if you own all 3, you're a key master, and key masters get every next release of the MetaKeys, no matter who the artist is, no matter how big we grow or how many keys we release, you'll get at least one of them for free, airdrop to you. So, but yeah, you're right. We will be continuously adding keys. At the end of the day, the idea is to get millions of people to have a MetaKey and have thousands of things you can do across the whole Web3 blockchain space. That's the goal. And the only way we do that is by releasing more MetaKeys. But in between the MetaKey releases, we need to add so much functionality that people are dying to get one, basically. If we drop them where the economy doesn't make sense, then no one's going to want it. And it's going to hurt the previous keys. So we have to make in special things to maintain that value. And that's why when we announced and said that the first 3 keys you own, you have a MetaKey, you're a key master, then suddenly now we can drop the next set of NFTs and it's not going to affect that price much because those people want to hold it to get the next drops, right? So it's, the next drop's going to be 5,000 and 0.2 Ethereum, and it's going to have its own separate artist and look a certain way, and we'll add more functionality to this set before releasing the next one. But it's a lot of crafting and fine tuning before we move forward. We're definitely not going to dilute the space. We don't want to dilute investors or anything, but yeah.
So you'd say like the first 3 are sort of the ones to have, and then the other ones are going to give you, they're granting access, but
yeah.
Lou wants financial advice. He's asking for financial advice.
Well, what I'm saying is like the difference between 2 and 3. Like, what's the difference between 2 and 3? Because I get number 1, that's the first, and having all 3 makes sense for that added utility. But number 2 and number 3 are separated by 2 Ethereum in their price. So is there a difference between 2 and 3 besides supply number?
The design of the difference was only going to be the supply number and the artist. That's it. That's what makes them scarce overall. And then through your preference, you can buy other 2 and 3. I guess what we're finding out is that you're also connecting yourself to the artist or the brand that has built that key. And Joshua is saying that I'm holding an Artifact MetaKey. And that's interesting because Artifact Studio came out and said that if you own their MetaKey and only their MetaKey, then you'll be able to mint an Akira NFT, which is their avatar project. And then suddenly that's seen a spike in volume. Now it'll be interesting to if we went with Artifact for MetaKey Edition 3, it would have been interesting to see if that announcement pushed that price higher than MetaKey 2. But we didn't do that. So it's I guess from an investor perspective, there wouldn't be much difference between 2 and 3. It'll be hard to tell. They're all collector's editions, so they'll all appreciate, because at the end of the day, if you want to become a key master, you have to get all 3 of them. So that way they will all increase in price. I reckon, and we've designed it in a way where if that artist goes on and becomes a great artist, or that brand, which Artifact is obviously going to do, then that key will also, the holders of that key will also have that added benefit. Not only are you benefiting from the MetaKey adding value to it, but you're also benefiting from, say, Artifact growing as a brand. If Artifact become the next Apple, right, hypothetically, then of course the MetaKey just on that branding alone will become MetaKey number 2 will become quite special.
That reminds me of the Night Kids with Pop Wonder, because Pop Wonder is a big artist here, obviously, and so the Night Kids mints with Pop Wonder art on it are going at a premium right now. So that makes sense that it's rising tide raising all boats, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, so that it's every batch that we release, it'll be from a new artist, and you're kind of connecting yourself to the MetaKey brand and also that artist. So if the MetaKey does well, it goes up. If the artist does well, it goes up as well.
And that, I think that's the coolest part about this MetaKey, is that it, like you said initially, like 4 or 5 months ago, when people heard NFT, they immediately just thought art. So you're kind of combining art and utility and taking all different parts of this metaverse, I guess, and combining them into one and adding benefits into it and providing value along the way, which is super cool. Super, super cool.
Thanks, man. It's an experiment. Basically, I got a lot of people in my DMs and they're like, "Oh, yeah, Matty, we're coming up with this cool new project. Do you want to work together?" And I'm like, I'm usually too busy or just doesn't feel right to work together. But now I can be like, well, I've got the METAKEY community. If you can integrate something with them, like we can use that community to activate your product or your project and bring some eyeballs to it if you want. So there's kind of like a value share. So like, I remember Rarible founder DM'd me before Rarible came out, and they were telling me about the platform. Like, it would have been cool to be like, yo, like if the METAKEY people can have a special badge for their Rarible profile, then that'd be awesome. So like those sort of opportunities are coming my way, where it's like, and also I have a venture fund, so I'll be investing in these companies as well. And so it's kind of like I'm investing in them, I'm connecting my founded product into them, and I'm trying to compound the value of the stuff coming my way and monetize my presence as much as possible. So that's where it all kind of, there's like a trifactor there that I try and work with.
Do you have to walk like this fine line of not oversaturating the amount of, I guess, benefits that you just throw on or value that you just throw on to this METAKEY thing? Or how do you decide, like your brain just has to be constantly thinking, how can I provide more value? How can I provide more value? How can I build this to be bigger than it already is? So like, how do you decide what, you probably have all these ideas in your head every single day, like, oh, I can add this, or, oh, I can add this. How do you decipher between all of those? Because it's got to be a little bit overwhelming, right? Because like you said, it is impossible to cover this entire space as one person. So like, how do you even manage that?
Well, we have a team of 5 people that work in-house full-time on the METAKEY, and we have an integrations lead that's offshore, so that's a 6th person. And I think at the moment what happens is any partnerships that come our way, I'll just introduce them to our integrations lead, and he goes on and finds out how it fits with the METAKEY. But for me, it's just throwing stuff out there at the start with different variations. Okay, we've got the Metacademy out. How do people react to that? Do they like education? Okay, we're doing airdrops. Do people like the airdrops model? All right, we're doing integration with games. Do people like that? Are people telling us to do more game stuff? And if they say, if 99% of the community is like, Matty, we want more game stuff, then all right, well then METAKEY will become a game-oriented key pass sort of thing. So we're kind of just throwing things out there and seeing how the people react and going with it on the floor.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it seems like one of the big sort of terms and way that a lot of these teams are moving are towards DAO tokens, but this is slightly different, where I think that keeps its uniqueness, where we haven't really seen many copies of the METAKEY. Like we see thousands of copies of punks, crypto punks are getting copied every day, but this is something just way more unique, and like you said, you're able to change it all the time and on the fly in between all these versions. So I think from your stream earlier when I was watching, it said in about 2 to 3 weeks is the next drop of keys. Is that right?
I'm aiming for about 3 weeks. It's up to the artist. Like, we're ready. It depends on when he finishes it. It's a really awesome piece of art. I'm not sure if you've seen the METAKEY Edition 3, but it's gonna be similar to that, but like a completely different. It's gonna basically tell the whole METAKEY story in one little 3D animated piece. So it's gonna take some time to build, but as soon as we're ready, about 3 weeks, we'll drop it. But just on your point, real quick, we definitely do see people releasing the 10,000 avatar project. The problem with that is you all of a sudden have a community that has thousands and thousands of members that you need to cater for. And you can't release more NFTs until you build insane utility or there's something special there, which usually takes about 6 months, right? Bored Apes was an exception. Like, they did really well. But imagine if Cool Cats or like someone else released like another 10,000 avatars. Maybe they do well, maybe they won't. But for us, what we did is we only released 500 at start. We released 500 METAKEYs. And then that sold out, and we released another 750, right? The 750, the first 500 took 15 minutes to sell out. The second ones took 45 days to sell out slowly. But what we did was like, all right, that's actually good. Let's spend that 45 days, just build our team and build a story, come up with a strategy, and really figure out where we want to go. It gave us a lot of time to build, so that by the time we sold out that second edition in 45 days, then we had so much that we had already built to leverage that we could. And then we as soon as the second edition sold, we sold the third edition, and that third edition sold out in 20 minutes. So it's really interesting because in the middle, there was a 45-day period where we had to prove ourselves. We proved ourselves, and then everyone was buzzing for the third edition, and that ended up selling in 20 minutes. So we're kind of releasing it in stages where we're building insane utility. We're growing to a level where we think can cater to that community, because we were quite overwhelmed. It's very difficult to cater to thousands of people on day one. It's very, very hard to do that. You have support teams being overwhelmed, and everyone's asking. 3 days later, they're jumping to another project. It's a very short attention span area of the space. So I'm not gonna lie and say we could have taken on 10,000 people easily. Like, we actually needed time to find out exactly how the community was, nurture that community, and be ready for the next phase. So we're kind of setting ourselves to be ready for each phase, and it's a long-term thing. We're here for decades. We don't care if it's 10,000 avatars or something else.
So Matty, so after you were done selling out after those 14 days, you didn't have to take a nap and go to sleep? That's an Animeta's joke. I'm sorry. It's a running joke with us because they sold out, and then the devs were like, we got to sleep, guys. We're like, what? What are you talking about? We just bought all these things. We want to see them.
So they didn't show you guys what they were.
They were supposed to be like an instant reveal, yeah.
But I'm telling you, like it is stressful AF from a dev perspective when you launch these things. Like, it's insane. Like, you haven't slept for 2 days. You press launch. You're going through all these bug fixes. Everyone's complaining. You sell out. That's cool. The money's in the bank, but you got all these people asking for questions. I wanted to take a nap straight away when I finished, but we had to. And that's why we're fortunate. We only had 500 sales. Imagine these 10,000 projects have 20 times that much community to cater for.
Top
so
shot.
We could have just.
Even worse.
Top shot.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I could think of when you were talking about that, was how they just exploded and had no chance to even build anything, right? I mean, they just saw that hockey stick level growth, exponential growth.
It's hard because they had a great model, all right? You buy these NFTs and then you can play them in the games.
Oh yeah.
But the reality is the games that you can build them into would take months, if not maybe a year, to develop. So suddenly, if 2 months later there's tens of thousands of people asking for that game, or like trying to find utility for this stuff, it's hard to maintain, 1,000x, 10,000x growth in price.
Have we seen Hardcourt? Has anyone seen Hardcourt?
The game.
I haven't heard much about it.
But that's the thing.
What's happening with that?
You have other stuff to work on.
Where's Jack? Jack will tell us about Hardcourt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lou, though. Lou's on the same page as you, Matty, as far as projects and slow growth, because he's been saying for a while from an investor side, a slow sellout is actually a good thing. It just needs a sellout, and it needs momentum at the end, as far as like when we're contract watching, because then it shows, people are getting word of this. But from the creator side, I think that's important to note too, because we've Carlini hangs out in our Discord that we hang out in, and was talking about the Penelope's Country Club and all that stuff, and it was, for a little bit, it was kind of silly. And then he was actually building, and he was actually thinking about how to provide value to these folks. And now he's executing on it. And so we're seeing that for someone that we chat with on a regular basis. So that's really cool to see from your side as well, as far as slow growth. I want to build this community long-term. And now I know it's not all about pricing, but part of it is, like, let's be honest. I mean, you're doing a venture fund. You're here to make money too. Your floors are great. After a slow sell out of 14 days, it's incredible. So yeah, that's great to hear.
45 days, man.
45 days, my fault.
14, yeah, it's crazy. Like it's like almost 2 months, right? It took us almost 2 months to sell the second edition, and we were like every day we were selling like 3 or 4, and we're like, oh, that's cool. People are finding us somehow, somewhere. Someone's making a YouTube video or something. But you're right, slow growth. I am such a fan of slow growth, because slow growth proves that the dev is capable of maintaining
Yes.
value and to convince people to come in for another reason just to make money. And also the quality of people you get that don't come in just for the hype. They come in for the project, and they're more holder type, and there's less like, oh, when Moon questions, there's less people flipping it and getting upset if the next day the price goes down 10%, they're not upset. And that's a much easier community to run with.
Yeah. And you have, there's over 6,000 people in your Discord, and right now there's only 2,200 supply. So, there's clearly going to be demand the next time you go to release something, because at best there's 4,000 people that are part of your community right now that don't have a MetaKey.
Yeah. Well, I had when I released the second edition, I think I had 30,000 Twitter followers. Now somehow it's like 75,000 Twitter followers, and the Discord has grown. You're right, and everyone's asking for it. But like again, man, like for us, I don't want to sell out straight away. I feel like if you sell out straight away, we're gonna have to deal with this flipper mentality for a while, and it's just too stressful. Because we're not here to all right, you can probably make money flipping, and that's fine. But the model of the project is to utilize it, and in the long term, it'll go up in value. So, like even if it doesn't sell out immediately, and it takes another 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's fine. Like we want it to be like that, right? But like for the third edition, we actually announced it in our Discord first before it went out on Twitter, and in that 10 minutes pre-Twitter announcement, it actually sold out 80%, just from Discord alone with like 2,000 members. So I can't imagine what will happen now.
Yeah. And I think it's the type of thing that, as now there's word that's out there, way more people even know what MetaKey is, but it's also the type of thing that even though it's a floor of say 8 for version 1, like the utility of holding it, like people would rather hold it than say make money off of it, because you got the what's the word I'm looking for? There's other value to it besides just the monetary value right now. And if you sell it, what if it goes up to 12 tomorrow? Then you can't just rebuy into it. So there's more people holding it and not worrying about selling it. So like you're saying with the flipper mentality, like there's less people that are just going to dump this off to 5 because they're holding it to actually use it.
Exactly. And we always keep in touch. We always keep on top of the distribution metrics. So I'm not sure if you've seen, like we have a page called stats.themetakey.com where it tells you every key, and I think it's called stats.themetakey.com or themetakey.stats. Yeah. But it tells you every key and how much percentage distribution there is. So out of 500 members, how many individual wallets is there? Out of 500 MetaKeys, how many individual wallets own them? So you can see, well, is there a whale that has 100 of them? If there's a whale that has 100 of them, obviously it's going to put sell pressure eventually. But if there's 460 owners or 460 individual wallets of 500 total, then you know that there's a lot of holders, and each one has a maximum of 2 or a minimum of 1, a maximum of 1. So it's easier to release based on that.
Yeah, so I just pulled it up here. Looks like
if you scroll down,
you
scroll down, you can see the distribution bar. Yeah, that one. So 91% distributed means for edition 2 that out of the 750, 91%, which is like what, 660? There's 660 individual wallets out of the 750. So it gives you an indication if there's a whale or something. So it's really well distributed. And that's why for the third edition, we waited for a minimum of 85% before we did anything. So for a long time, it was 70% and 75 and 80%. That's where the flippers are moving on, right? The flippers that had like 5 or 10 of them, they're slowly selling them. And then a new member's coming in, a new member's coming in, new wallet's coming in. And now we're at 87% distribution. All right, now we're ready to do another one.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean?
We're stat guys here. So we love these types of charts. I've never seen percentages like this in the NFTs. Like 680 out of 750. That's insane. Like we see 50% and we get excited. Everything's over 85% right now.
I mean, we see 25, 30 after something sells out, and we're like, hell yeah, that's looking good, because then by like an hour after the drop, it's probably up to like 3,500, 4,000.
Yeah. Well, Bored Apes started to do really well once they hit like 40%. That's when they were doing really well, like 10 ETH floor and all that sort of stuff. And
So-
to the credit of like larger projects that have tens or thousands of NFTs, it's easy. It's harder to have a good distribution. We're like this because we're small, but you know, it's still important. Like we do not drop. I think again, like our benefit is dropping in batches, as opposed to just dropping 10,000. But yeah, it's a completely new model. We're just experimenting and seeing what works. But the good thing is we can always pivot if things don't look right because it's a batch model, right?
Now, Josh, he's our METAKEY expert here. So, you know, he likes the idea that there's not rarity involved with this. And you know, a lot of these other projects that sell, say, 1,000 of the same thing, you know, they don't have the same after effects that this one does because of the utility. So, I mean, do you plan on growing your team as there's more of these projects that come out and you're going to maybe need to add more keys, and then all of a sudden, like you said, maybe one day you have 1 million MetaKeys? Do you think you're going to be scaling heavily over the next year, let's say?
Team wise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We have 5. We're holding back on hiring, but we need to hire like another 5 because eventually we're going to need integration specialists in each discipline. So like people that are chasing e-commerce partnerships, people that are chasing, you know, gaming partnerships, people that are chasing this partnership. Basically, we're leveraging the fact that all these products and projects already exist, like established games or projects like Decentraland and the Sandbox. They already exist. We just want to plug into them somehow, right? We just want to be like, all right, well, here's the METAKEY now in your thing, make it something. We don't know what it is, but we'll find something that works. We definitely need to scale. I know in terms of scaling, it's the culture is really important within a team. So this is where like internal, like when you're managing a team, you need to be on the same page. Small teams are good because you can all be in touch and you kind of know where everyone's going. Once you scale past about 10 to 15, then you start to lose the culture a little bit. So we're growing slow and steady. And every time I add someone to the team, you know, I make sure that everyone gets along and everyone's happy and they're happy with what they're doing. It's totally in line with what their purpose is in life. Like if they're an artist, they're doing art stuff, they're not doing admin stuff. So it's you know, it's scaling's absolutely, we're going to scale because we're going to do a raise quite soon. But yeah.
And Trey, do you have a question before we bring on Reno here? I think you had one.
Yeah. So one of the, we've obviously thrown around the word metaverse quite a bit here, just in your conversations and just in our conversations in our Discords and stuff. So like, I think everybody has their own definition or has their own vision in their head of what the metaverse is. So it's kind of a 2-part question, but how would you define the metaverse as it stands right now? And then in addition to that, when you think of the metaverse 5 to 10 years from now, how do you exactly picture that? I mean, is it like a Ready Player One where we're literally putting on these goggles and, you know, going around and fighting monsters and stuff? Or is it a little bit different in your head than that?
I hope so. I hope it's like Ready Player One.
That's what I'm saying. I want to say,
yeah, man. I'm building.
I love it. Yeah.
I was actually like, one of the reasons for the METAKEY is to kind of push that a bit more forward. But again, like for Ready Player One to exist, and this is where the metaverse concept is interesting to kind of break apart. You know, I'm, I guess, a new fan of the metaverse. Like I haven't read the books, and people always talk about reading these earlier books about the metaverse. I don't read. The only thing I've done is watch Ready Player 2. Yeah, there is. I've watched Ready Player One, and I've also watched Sword Art Online, an anime where people put on their goggles and they go into this weird world and they fight monsters. So I'm into all that sort of stuff. And I think at this point in time, we're building the tools to get into the metaverse. The metaverse for me is a place where you can exist in a virtual space and take your assets with you and your people with you and go seamlessly from one place to the other. So, you know, like I can take my value, whether it be my art or something. And that's why blockchain and NFTs were so interesting to me, because suddenly I'm taking my real money. Like that has, I can literally take millions of dollars with me in what's agreed upon to these virtual spaces. So it's not just my social identity, it's also my backpack that has money. And then this is connected to the real world to me, right? I think that's why NFTs and blockchain was such a big win for the metaverse concept. And I feel like sometimes I think like at a very basic level, like we're plugged into the metaverse right now, staring at a screen, 15 hours a day, basically, buying and selling stuff. Like we live in like here, we just don't have a headset on. But I would love like in 5 to 10 years, I think it will come to a point where you have a headset. They're lighter. Hopefully they're lighter. They don't make you as dizzy. You can chat and maybe use your phone in them. I think one of the biggest issues or hurdles is that you can't communicate to the outside world with the headphones on. So you got to like take it off and tell your mom something and then put it back on or something, right? So there needs to be a communication channel in and out. But yeah, 5-10 years we'll have that. NFTs will be something completely different, I'm sure.
Matty, I hate to be rude. We have a fiduciary responsibility. There's an drop alert. Casino Monkeys beanie promised to pump them tomorrow. Apparently there's 7,000 left. There's a
promise pump them tomorrow. What's that mean? If it's dropping now?
I can't.
What does do your research mean? Does that mean message Beanie and us?
It means I'm going to tell you this, but you have to look it up on your own, and you can't blame me if something goes wrong.
Matty,
do your own research.
In our Discord, we let you for a thing that like lets you get alerted when there's a drop happening. I rang that bell once, and the drop sucked, and then people were just flaming me, literally saying, "Dangy, eat the shit." Just in the exactly, Matty. That eyebrow said a lot, my friend. So yeah, now we just do your own research, spend your own money if you want, do whatever you wish. Because it used to be the label was literally minters, because that felt like you should go mint it. Now it's drop alert. Hey, this thing's available. Yeah, because you know how it goes.
Yeah. You got to be clear with it.
And we're gonna bring on another guy here from our Discord. You can hang out with us still. I know Dangy had some questions for him, and this is RenoPhox.
Hey guys.
Yeah, he had one of the big sales of the week with us.
Thanks for having me on. How's it on?
We're doing great, Reno. Reno, give us the whole story, because you like parachuted into our Discord, and then like you're still around for some reason, but you have a lot more money very quickly. So tell me that story. Like, how did you get started in NFTs? How did you learn about them? How did you find our little corner of the world?
So I think it started a little bit back further than what I gave credit for, but listening to Matty over here. So I actually dabbled in Bitcoins back in 2014, 2015 kind of time, when they were a couple $100 each kind of thing. I sold it at 1,000. I wish. I didn't hold paper hands. I bought a few for a couple $100, sold it at 1,000. Thought I made massive profits. Incredibly happy. Left it. Never looked at it back again. Then recently, about start of July, I'm a bit of a gamer. I play video games. That's what I enjoy, right? And I saw this thing, Axie Infinity, which looked cute. Heard people were making money off it. You know what? I want to look into it. So I spent 2 days, looked into it, and I dropped 7 ETH into it. I just decided this looks good. I can flip. I can make money off it. Why not try it out? Made a few ETH off that. I'm pulling out now just because it seems like it's dying out. But then one of the Discords I joined was for another game, Illuvium, and they had a DGen Ape channel in it, and I just saw this picture of an One, and I looked at it and I was like, this looks really cool. I want this. What is it? How do I get involved? And then I saw the price of this stuff, thinking, this is not cheap. What am I doing? So what I did, I started doing my research. I started looking at YouTube videos, reading blogs, reading whatever I could. And then I stumbled across this channel. And the videos were really helpful. I saw that there were only a few people in here. At the time when I found a video, there were less than 200 subscribers. And so I joined Discord to see, what's happening. As soon as I joined the Discord, there was a live chat about the drop for gauntlets. And I'm thinking, what's this?
Hold on.
Yeah.
As soon as you join the Discord, like you plop in and then you're like, gauntlets?
Yeah. This was
so
within,
mad right now.
This was the same time that I was like, hey guys, how's everyone doing? I just found this channel. You guys seem pretty cool. I would love to learn from you guys. And then next thing you know, there's a voice chat about the live drop of Gauntlet. Like, oh, this seems interesting. Let's listen in on this. And you guys are like explaining how you look at the contracts, how you guys check out the transactions, the pendings, how many people, the holders, just, the whole shebang. The amount of knowledge I learned from that was, I would say, phenomenal. I was just really lucky. This was the day before, it's either the day before or 2 days before One launched. At this time, I haven't minted. I haven't bought any NFTs. I just didn't know what I was doing. So the next day, One dropped at 4 a.m. for me. So without knowing what I was doing, I decided, you know what, let's set an alarm for 3:30. Woke up, pissed off my girlfriend, and it was like, oh, it's 5 to 4. I better get out of bed now to go to my computer and try and mint one of these things. So roughly 5 to 7 minutes in, I'm like, what am I doing? I don't understand any of this. So then I went to the contract. I looked at it. I checked how much people were paying in gas, what ones were, how many holders there were, and then I figured out, all right, that person who just succeeded paid 2,000 gas for it. Let's just chuck five on top of that. 500 Gwei on top of that. So in other words, 2.5. And then I wanted to get 7 of them, but I didn't have enough Ethereum in my wallet at the time. So then I fumbled my way through it, dropped it down to 5, got 5, and that was it. And I was just like, all right, cool, I'm going to make the sleep now. So the fun part about that was that, so the reveal was 2 days after? So the days after, I got rug pulled. The next project I tried entering was Boneheads. And it was just like, oh shit. Oh, so this is what
have they gone back to work yet?
They have. The head dev of it has said that she or he is, fuck what the haters. I'm going to show you all. We're going to do great. We're going to do whatever we can, kind of thing.
So Matty, you have a confused look. Did you not mint that Boneheads with us?
No.
Oh, well, that mint was on a Friday, and they said, okay, bye guys, I'm taking the weekend off, and then left, and like literally left. Did not come back in the Discord until Monday.
No way. What were they, Boneheads?
Yeah, Boneheads.
Yeah. So they're attached
Like a luxury
to
clothing brand or something like that is kind of how they were framing it. Didn't work out that way.
So you buy like the
suck.
base NFT, and then over time you buy clothing and hats for it, and the right people were pumping it, I guess.
The issue was,
I don't have any boneheads.
Is that they didn't actually explain any of that at the start. They didn't tell you that you're going to get a base bonehead and you had to buy all the accessories after. So when everyone went in on it, they were expecting something that looked cool, but it was bare bones. That was a disappointment. That's where the FUD came in, and it just all tumbled down, and the floor price is under minting. So that was my day 2. Dave. Oh, and I can't remember if it was the same day, but I also tried getting in on the roosters, the chickens. What day was that? Like 2 or 3 days after? I can't actually remember the exact timeline there.
It doesn't matter.
I think the chickens were on a Friday as well.
Yeah, so I think that was after. So I got in on Boneheads. I missed the chickens, and I was just really, really down that day.
No, Matty, the chickens are awesome. They're gonna have a game. They better have a game.
So it's chicken racing, and Zedrun so they have horses, and basically it's to compete with Zedrun, and it's going to be chickens, and they like have weapons and abilities. So that's like the idea of this chicken derby, and so that was a hot drop that we were pretty high on within our Discord. I know at this point it just sounds like we're naming random animals, and you have to decide if we're serious.
No, I'm used to people talking about all sorts of things. I know people are bringing up this chicken thing, and a friend in my group was like, "Matty, I got these chickens. The chickens are gonna do really well." And I haven't looked into them, but You know what? They probably will do well. What's the Twitter handle?
Bit
What-
lovin'
Chicken
is the
what are
company.
they called?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
bit
think it's
loving.
bit
Chicken what?
lovin'.
Bit loving.
I'll find. I'll put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
Yeah.
like BITLOVIN.
I actually
That's their
sold my
website.
first chicken today.
Oh shit!
People are people are paying like
This pays so much.
a full ETH up to
For my
5 ETH on
cerama.
some of these.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone paid an ETH for my cerama. The best, whatever. It wasn't even that great. It's the 90
I think you
or
sold
whatever.
low. You sold low.
I could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Don't
chicken
look
looks
back,
pretty
right? They are.
Thank you,
cool.
Maddie.
Do you hold anything, Maddie, that is one of these, secondary part? You maybe not like a blue chip project, but maybe one of these
Yeah.
avatar projects. What's your favorite of those?
I have like the only thing I got really lucky with, Oni. I literally just someone made a comment under my Twitter and was like, Maddie, you gotta check Oni, they're blowing up right now. And I was like, all right, let me just go check it out. Went to OpenSea, and went to the sales feed and it was like every minute there was like 10 sales going on. And I was like, holy shit, this is insane volume. So I bought like the cheapest 13 for 1.5 Ethereum each.
Oh wow.
Slept on it for 4 days. And then before I knew it, everyone's putting their profile pictures of them and they're going for 6 ETH each. I sold them all for about 5 ETH and I was like, what the fuck just happened? But I do have some. I got some random ones. I got I think I got like this one called Eververse, which is cool. They're not selling out, but they're cool because you can buy them and play them in Steam games. And they actually got a game that looks like it's in beta where you can actually use them and they're running around shooting people. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. But it looks like the stupid ones are the best ones. So I might tell me when there's a llama one or something. But
I think
No,
there
that's
was a
Solana.
llama one today, wasn't
That's
there?
the llama.
There's like baby
there actually
llamas.
was
Oh,
Yeah.
but they stole the art, right? They stole the art. That was the FUD.
Oh, really? So
Maddie,
it didn't work.
by the way, you should retract that statement. We will send you really terrible PFP projects for you to mint. So you can retract that. I don't think you want this.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can't even go 1 hour on stream before people are already sending us there's a new drop at this point.
yo, these chicken sales are going crazy.
I know.
Yeah. People love the
The
chickens.
chicken
and,
volume is crazy.
I think because at this point the game is close. Now all of the chickens have been sold, so there's no more supply that'll be added. But I think they'll have breeding, so they'll end up being more supply later. But
Just wait. Hold on. I want to. We used to have a segment called "Pump Our Bags," but let's be completely honest. We're now too rich to even do that as a bit. Like we made too much money in this space. Like it was just a joke if people pump their bags. But I can't do it in good faith. But I'm gonna pump an upcoming bag for you, Maddie. And it's ridiculous, but I actually genuinely like it. And Reno, I promise we'll pick up your story in a minute. It's called
Yeah.
Crypto Dads, Maddie. Maddie, do you have any kids?
I do. I have a 6-week-old.
6 week?
6
Yeah,
feet.
man.
Congratulations,
don't
my
sleep.
friend.
Congrats.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, man.
This is not a criticism. I saw you yawn. I'm like, I don't know what time zone he's in. It could be morning, it could be night, but now it doesn't matter. I know that you're a new dad. I get it. So I've got 2 kids.
I'm always
I have
sleepy.
I-
I'm like, you know how it is.
It's crazy. These two, Trey and Lou. I think it was Babs who's got 3 kids. Actually, he said something like being single and without kids during NFT summer. That's incredibly plus EV.
It's incredible.
So Crypto Dads, it's like oh god, what's the artwork, Lou? That it's like what's Bob's Burgers. It's Bob's Burgers like artwork. Yeah. And the whole thing, you were talking about how you don't want to like add too many NFTs. The whole thing is you mint a crypto dad, and then you could mint a crypto mom, and then you can mint crypto babies. And they're all in the same kind of artwork. And
You can breed them? Can you breed them? I'm sure there's a breeding game.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So
I think they call them crypto tots or the children.
that's right.
You know what? I reckon this will actually do good.
I'm trying to pare back on my exposure on stuff, and I'm incredibly bullish on this one because it just seems so silly, and the artwork is actually good. And I like the Discord. Like I'm a dad through and through, 100%. So I talked about grilling, smoking meats, and what are we cooking for dinner, like that kind of stuff with these people. It was great. Not these young kids, Trey and Lou. They're going to concerts and talking to people. Nah, unbelievable.
Dad stuff.
All right, Reno. So you got rugged. You
All right, guys,
tried to
I'm
get
gonna run.
chickens.
Oh,
I gotta run real
see
quick.
Maddie.
See you,
All right,
Maddie.
bye,
Thanks so
Maddie.
much for coming on. Appreciate it.
But, thanks for having me, and we'll jump on again maybe sometime.
Yeah.
So take care.
Cheers.
Sounds good.
Take care.
All right, Reno. Chickens.
Right.
You
yes,
tried to get
so
chickens, but you failed.
tried to get chickens. I failed. That was because I didn't prepare. It was on another network. Didn't do my my research in time, and I failed that. And so then it comes to day 3. This is the day that it revealed. I looked at it. I didn't really know what I was looking at. I was like, oh yeah, I like the art. This looks cool. And then following from what you guys do, where you check out the metadata, because then you have to understand all that. I need to check 4 of my guys. And I thought, oh, these guys don't seem that rare. The numbers look pretty normal. The backgrounds are just plain colors. And then I checked again. I was like, oh, wait, I have a 5th one I should probably check. Oh, this one looks pretty cool. Fancy background. All the colors kind of match. I like it. It was good. And then that's when everything kind of ramped up. Within the first 2 days, within the first day of it revealing, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to sell one to just pay back my principal. I listed at 2, and when I woke up, the floor was at 6. And I was like, okay, never listing anything when I go to sleep again, unless well above floor. And then the rarity tools came out, and I saw, oh, awesome. I've got a top 230. I'm just going to list it up for, so it was a type. The type was called One, and it was only about 500 of them, I think. 200 or 500 of them. And I saw that the floor on that was about 10. So I thought, you know what, let's just double it. Let's go to 20 for the floor. And I told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm just going to list up for 20. And she's like, that's way too low. List it for more. Don't be an idiot. So I was like,
is your girlfriend in crypto, in NFTs? Like, what is?
Yeah. What?
No, she isn't. She's a doctor. She doesn't. Well, she listens to me, and I tell her about it a lot. I talk about it a lot with her, and she follows things really well. She wasn't in crypto. She is now in crypto, and I'll explain a bit more about that in a bit. But she was just like, you know what? That looks really cool. The floor's so low. The prices are going up so quick. Why list it for so low? I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'll list it for 50. It won't sell for 50, but I'll list it for 50. And then the NFTer, over the next couple of days, started hyping the hell out of it. He started getting people like Logan Paul into it. He started getting people like, who else was there? I can't remember the names, but like lots of famous people started getting in. The prices started rocketing.
Yeah, Logan Paul had that. It was what, 188 ETH
180
for one of
188.
a one of one.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh wow, this stuff is flying. Yeah, I'm from New Zealand. And what happened there was I was like, you know what, this might sell. So I kind of just held on to it. And then a few days later, about 4 or 5 days later, I was checking my wallet, and I was like, I was checking my OpenSea account. I was like, where'd my NFT go? It just disappeared. What
I
happened?
hate when that happens.
Yeah, you don't get an email, and like you just log into your account and things are disappearing. I'm like, oh shit, what's happened here? And then I just looked at my MetaMask account. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What the hell? It was a 50 ETH sale, which is currently still in the top 18 sales for One. And the really fun part about that is that I sold it to a guy who was his first day trading NFTs as well.
Who
Just
is
make
buying
just make
50
there is no
Yeah.
NFT winter. NFT summer lives on. We're going to the sun.
I'm
We're
gonna
going
go
to
spend,
Uranus.
150K on something real quick.
Yeah, I looked at his account. There were no NFTs before that day, and he just spent like 200 something
That's-
Ethereum in one day.
Okay, I don't believe that.
I
He just
wonder if
moved his
that's
money
just
over to that
a
account.
yeah. I bet that was just a wallet or something. That's
No,
who
no.
comes into the.
It was on his Twitter as well. This guy with 50 million followers on TikTok. So
Oh, okay.
he's
Okay.
a rich kid who just
Eat it, Jack.
So kind of like the Logan Paul, like they come
Exactly.
over from, they have money and they have a big social media influence. And so he's like, I'm going to buy something. This is the hot thing. Like it's popping off. Let me do this kind of idea.
Can we just pause for a second and talk about these people that are like, when I first got into NFTs, it was like, oh, like dip my toes in the water. But like these people are like first time buying NFTs. I'm coming in with 50 ETH, like no problem. Like what? How I had to work my way up to be able to like even justify this, right? And these people are just coming in like probably had a 2-minute conversation with their buddy and now they're dropping 50 ETH. It's crazy.
I literally screenshotted when I hit 1 ETH in my MetaMask to my friends.
It's nuts.
Literally.
Yeah. I think it's the type of thing where like a lot of us I think we'd call ourselves normies when we first hopped in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And none of us were throwing 5 ETH at anything because we probably didn't even start with 5 ETH,
No way.
So it's kind of crazy to hear this, but at the same time, like these are the types of people we need to be coming into the space. And what we've learned the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on something that they think could have value and become $1 million in a few years. And they're more likely to spend $100K and let it sit than some of these other people that are just around to flip.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And well, I'm one of those lucky recipients who, the wealth distribution came straight to me and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so this was a week ago.
Go ahead, Reno. My bad.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, this was about a week ago, and since then, there's only been one sale for Hide and Mine. So I really just pulled the rug on some rich kid, and it just didn't make any sense. I was like, oh, I'm happy at 50. No matter what happens after 50, if it sells for 100 after, I'm still happy with it. But the good news is I don't have to worry about that. I'm just like, it sold for 50. That's the highest it's ever going to sell for. I'm sorted. And saying that, I'm still holding on to 3 of them, which did devalue quite a lot from the top. But there's still 8 to 9 ETH each. And it's like, you know what? It's okay. I can hold on to this for long term now because I have enough liquidity to play with now. And
Reno, do you spend time in their Discord? Do you hang out over there at all?
Oh, I don't know. It's way too much of a cult. I don't like any of the single NFT Discords because they're too cultish.
I don't either. Yes, I don't hang out in any of them. I know that some people do, but I don't. Club NFT, that's it.
Yeah. And so since then, I've gotten into Mutant Apes. I was lucky enough to be awake when that secretly dropped. I wanted to get some art blocks, but I overslept it. This was the what was the good one? Geometry Run.
The curated, geometry.
Yeah.
That one hurts.
That one.
It does. That does hurt.
That's the one that Babs sold for 50. He saw you had a 50 ETH sale, so he had to come in and grab that with the same way.
And he said he's never joining the stream again. Never ever.
I mean, I haven't seen Babs in a month. It feels like
it's been a while.
Yeah.
So Reno, you were mentioning something about your girlfriend being a doctor, and there was like some story there about Ethereum and crypto. So what is her take on this whole deal, the whole thing?
So yesterday she decided to make a wallet, and so because she big part of it, I just transferred her 10 ETH for it so that she can do whatever she wants. You know what she does on the first day? Within 2 hours of getting her wallet, she drops 5 ETH on 15 Alka Bones.
Elk bones?
Oh,
yesterday?
no.
Yesterday?
Oh,
Alka
no.
Bones, yeah.
Wait,
This
so
was
your
just
girlfriend got a successful transaction through, but
Yeah. So I sat with her. We went through the whole thing. So because we weren't sure about it, we were quite worried about it. This was before everyone started saying that they had issues with theirs. What happened was we saw that, it won't let us do anything. The numbers didn't look right. So once again, I did what you guys did. We took it slow. We checked the contracts of the successful ones. We checked the contracts of the failed pending ones. We looked at their numbers. We looked at their gases, their and the GUI requirements and all that kind of stuff. And then we just copied a successful one and then chucked in 500 more. And the crazy thing about that one is that our contract didn't actually go through until minting finished, until 10,000 was done. They announced that everything was completed. It sold out. once again, it was we clicked on a MetaMask. Oh shit, 112. Did we just lose 5 ETH? Did we just lose everything like everyone else did? Because there was no, because we tried to put through a cancel. Apparently the cancel didn't work, but we ended up buying 15 Albonas. We just and now she has 15 of these things that are like fudded up the hill because the devs don't know how to make a contract. The devs don't know how to make a what was it? The reveal's going to be changeable. Everyone can just be rare now. So the whole
that was
project
a secret, Reno.
It's not. It's on the Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, because she's now considered godfather in that because she holds 15 of them. So she's like in the special chat. So what we've found out is that they've hired the dev who found that issue and told them about it. And I've also got 2 other devs working on it. So we've got 3 devs. From what I understand, they're making a new contract and they're going to airdrop a new one to everyone that holds, like 1-to-1 is what I hear. I don't know if it's real or not, but that's just what I've heard so far. So at the end of the day, we minted them for about 0.34 each. The floor's still hiding that. We're not losing anything. And that was, so my first mint was One. Her first mint is Albonas. It's these crazy drops for good or bad. And right now she's sitting next to me looking at Solana's. So she just spent like another 10k on Solana today.
On one Solana?
Oh no, on the Sol currency so that she can buy Solana's. Yeah.
What, Reno, do you have a day job?
Yes, I'm an analyst.
What does that mean?
That means I play around in spreadsheets all day, look at numbers.
Okay. Like a data analyst. Because you could analyze anything.
Yeah.
I could be an analyst of this monitor that I'm staring at, right?
Yeah. No, you're wrong. No, not wrong. So I'm a Excel jockey.
So you're Excel.
Yeah.
Okay. Lou and I are. I'm a wannabe R nerd. Lou's more of an R nerd than me. But Lou's stuck in Excel hell, I believe. Is that right, Lou?
Yeah, I do a lot in Excel for work, but I like using the open source as well.
Okay. All right. Just Reno, you just seem to be like throwing Ethereum around with reckless abandon. Like you bank, you hit 50 ETH and you're like, hey girlfriend, here's 10.
Here's 10.
I don't know. Have fun.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm also the luckiest person in the world kind of thing. Because like, so for example, top 20 sales in One. Another thing I minted was Killers. I'm currently top 5 sales in Killers. BattleBots.
BattleBots?
I'll stop.
Really?
I'll stop. No, BattleBots
what was your, I'm actually interested. What was your sale on BattleBots? Like, I don't even know what the highest sale would be on those.
I didn't sell it, but I am holding like one of the top weapons, which has like a floor higher than mint at least. I think it was like top 70 rarity. So I'm holding on to that one because here's the hope, right? It's a game. This is the first gen. If the game is fun, if people like it, when they release more, there'll be a bigger community. And there's no point selling it now, so I'm holding on to that one. Then there's other random one called Rebel Kids.
Yeah.
Yep, I had those. I had those. I had one. I had like 10.
I bought one, and apparently I bought something that had some rare necklace on it, and I made back 3 or 4 times what I put into that one, even though the floor's at mint.
Yep. Yeah, I had one. She was holding a goat, so I got all my money back. I think I had 4 total between that and the. What was the one before? It was like Familiar or something. That's part of the same project. It was like if you had one of those, you got to mint for free.
Oh, nice.
What is this?
And
what are we doing?
This is
Lou's like, I got one that's holding a
Game
goat.
Capital special. He was the one. He was telling me all about this Rebel Kids.
What is happening? Oh, Jesus Christ!
And so now, and also I got unlucky with the mutant apes, right? Because it just got announced, and people were thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to wait for it to go down before I buy." Next thing you know, there's a gas war for those people. So I bought in at what 0.28, so pretty early. I should have bought more. We only bought 2. Lucky enough, I got an M1 and an M2 for that. So we're still
Nice.
currently holding on that one. And yeah, so I'm just someone who doesn't do enough research and who just gets stupidly lucky. By the way, this whole thing started because New Zealand just went into lockdown, and it was Wednesday night, the first night of lockdown. I was bored, and that's how I stumbled across Ono.
Stumbled across 150K.
As
Not
you do.
bad. Not bad, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I'm pretty lucky.
Oh, God damn it, Reno. Well, I'm sorry you're in lockdown. There you go.
That does.
That makes me feel better.
I mean,
Yeah.
that honestly, like, now is the best time to be in lockdown because you
It
just can
really
stay
Fantasy
inside
summer.
and trade NFTs.
You don't
Yeah.
have to be. You don't have to feel bad about not being outside. Like, come on, that
Exactly.
he's living the
true.
life.
Yeah, and my partner's is on her 1 week annual leave at the moment, just taking some time off. It was planned well before now, but now she's diving deeply into crypto and NFTs like the rest of us, kind of thing.
She's already
Excuse
better
me.
at minting than I am.
Oh, she's much better than me.
You said 1 week annual leave?
Oh, she just took some time off.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure she could have more vacation than 1 week.
Oh no,
per
no,
year.
they
I
get,
mean,
like 6.
sounds like
Annually?
they have a lot better than us right now. He gets to stay home all the time and just trade NFTs for 50 ETH, and even his girlfriend's dropping on these. And with Solana, I think just a little teaser. I think we're going to talk about that more next week. But Solana got real hot today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou. I had quite a few work meetings. Lou's like, well, made more Solana. Well, made more Solana. Oh, made more Solana.
I tried to tell you,
Lou
I
just
dropped
out
that
here
out on
farming
Discord.
I didn't see it. Damn it.
I threw it in the Solana
Not
chat.
on the. I know. I
It's
got.
up
I don't
to
hang out in there enough.
114. It was what 80 a couple days ago. Yeah, so it's $114 per share for Solana right now. It was 98 yesterday, and going in, we were like, okay, Solana is going to be $100 at some point this week, and then 12 hours later, it was like 105.
Wow.
So Solana's been a good run. That's a good channel to get into right now.
That is true. And anybody that tried to buy into those initial drops but ended up failing, well, now we can just go look at the Solana that's sitting in our wallets that have appreciated double or triple, and at least get to look back on that.
Quick plug. Our guy Jesse Friedland is doing a stream tomorrow on Solana. So check him out on Twitter I think it's at Jesse Friedland. Maybe he's in the chat or somebody else can find the link and put it in there. But he's going to do one in Solana. What's going on there? So I've been listening to regular crypto and NFT podcasts, and Solana's been hot. Solana, a rep from Solana was on Kevin Rose's this past week, and then a rep from Solana was also on a separate podcast I was listening to, and I turned it off because they were talking Solana DeFi and like, oh, we're gonna. It was very, if Chris G's still around, it's very Ripple-ish because they're like, oh, we're gonna be the DeFi for big banks in 20 years. I'm like, big banks DeFi, it doesn't really get me going. But maybe Reno will just hit the nuts in Solana. Who knows? This guy.
I mean, now's the time to get in before others are.
That's true. When the website's crashing constantly, that's when you love it.
Love it.
Oh, there's an edge on Solana for sure. I just gotta figure. I kept clicking on that stupid. What was the drop on Friday? That stupid Soletta button. Very misleading.
Oh
True.
yeah.
The Badgers, right?
The Badgers, yeah.
Yeah. Not a good first minting experience for Trey.
People
All
were
right,
minting
we've got-
before the show.
We've got two things to go forward, and I'll give you a heads up because I asked these fools for a recommendation that's outside of crypto or NFT, and these fools just had no idea what to do with that. They're like, "What are you talking about, Tom? That doesn't exist." So, Reno, think of something to recommend. I'm thinking like media, TV, movie, music, whatever. Before we get to that, we are as I mentioned before, we've collectively hit a decent amount of money on this stream, including Babs, particularly Babs. And we wanted to give back. So here's how we're going to give back. We're going to do a charity raffle next week on the show. And to enter the charity raffle, you need to go to Children's International and do a dirty fiat donation. The minimum suggested donation is $10. If you've made money in this, do more than $10. Do whatever you want. We're going to be raffling off a bucket of NFTs that my job this week, on top of my regular job, is to grow that bucket of NFTs. Currently, it's a Perlini, which the floor there is 0.21 ETH. A chicken, which I didn't look up the floor on chickens, but it's up to Babs. We'll see how nice he feels about giving in the chicken. We have a Betty. That floor is 0.09. And we have a Rovi from our Rovi guys from last week, and that floor is 0.2. I haven't figured out what I'm giving in yet. Who knows if Trey will? I don't know. He's kind of a nit.
I will.
I'm just kidding. And the kicker is, we on the show, not Reno, but Lou, Dangy, Trey, and Babs have agreed to match up to 1,000 in dirty fiat to the charity as well. So if you get to 1,000, the charity's getting 2,000. So we want you to. I'll give you more details probably tomorrow in the Discord about how to do it. But we're just making money hand over fist, and I think it's past time for us to do something nice. And it's the Deposit King's preferred, one of the Deposit King's preferred charities as well. So shout out to Pete Overzet. So I don't think Children's International takes Ethereum. If you genuinely want to launder your Ethereum through me, I'll do that. You can send me your ETH. I'll pay the equivalent in USD, and you'll be entered. That's fine. We'll deal with that. Okay. With that in mind, I wanted to do some recommendations because we've talked about get away. Devs are like, oh, this is broken. Go for a walk. That's been the latest thing lately is go for a walk. They tell us, which I think is funny. So I will go first to give you all some time. My recommendation is an album by a band called Deaf Heaven. It's Infinite Granite. Deaf Heaven is a black gaze band. Black gaze is black metal plus shoegaze. So you might not like it, whatever. There's not that much screaming on this one. So it's kind of a slow roll into heavy music. Ricky, who was in here, he enjoyed it. I enjoy that. That's Infinite Granite by Deaf Heaven. Listen to it loud. Gump, we're doing Rex. I don't care. I'm controlling the show. Gump. All right, Trey, what do you have for a recommendation for the people?
I'm watching the show Ballers right now. I'm enjoying it. The Rock, pretty good cast. I'm enjoying. So I'm enjoying watching that. So check out Ballers.
Ballers good. Reno, what do you have to recommend to the people?
So there's a movie coming out, another Marvel superhero movie. Shang-Chi. That looks cool. It's coming out next month, so in September. Otherwise, on a nightly basis, me and my partner are watching Community at the moment. The relatively old comedy, because she hasn't watched it yet. Love it. It's great.
I love Community. That's a good one. Lou, what's your recommendation?
So my recommendation is one that I still have to do on my own, but people keep telling me, because of what's going on in the world right now and all that we're doing, our space and everything, Ready Player One, that's on my list. We talked about it earlier. I need to watch it now after seeing everything in place, so I fully, I don't want to say get it, but I'll probably be connecting some dots. But I definitely want to really watch it. What's the in Black Mirror? Have you guys seen that? So Black Mirror has an episode that is similar in the idea that the technology take over the world, basically. So I've recently watched that again, and it creeps you out to an extent, but I have to watch Ready Player One. That's on my list.
It is. I love watching Ready Player One.
I will watch it, preferably this week. I tried to show my daughter a movie, she was into dinosaurs and was like, oh, watch Jurassic Park. We got to the beginning of the kids version and she freaked out because there was a dinosaur roaring. It was a whole thing. So I don't think I'll watch Ready Player One with her. You're
gonna love the soundtrack from Ready Player One. It's a bunch of old nostalgic music.
Lou, we're gonna do an accountability bet with Ready Player One. We're gonna watch it at some point. We're gonna do it this week. We'll figure out what the terms are if we don't watch it. Thank you all for hanging out. Reno, congratulations again on that mega hit. Stop spending it on really shitty PFP projects, please. Find
Unless
better
they hit.
ones. Unless you keep hitting, sure, fine.
Just gonna buy everything, man. I don't know what's gonna hit. Just
Everything that's gonna
shotgun
sell out.
approach.
Yeah, I mean-
Shotgun approach.
As Tony says,
The shotgun approach has worked up until this point. So
right now it works, but it's the type of thing that's gonna work until it doesn't, right? But I
Mm.
think now it's so hot out there that it's hard to fail right now with some of these. Like if they're gonna sell out, it's hard for it to fail and that quick flip idea. But I think a lot of them you can tell right away. Like if the art's really that bad, you know, you just stay away.
Sure. We can go over next week. Like, we can do a State of the Union, like let's level set. It's been a while since it's weird.
It's gonna be completely different next week.
I know, but like we still have to figure out which things we care about, what we're interested in, because it's kind of different. For me at least. My thesis is changing. Okay, let's land the plane. Thank you all for hanging out with us. On behalf of Trey, Lou Dog, Reno, Matty. By the way, I know Matty's gone, but like Matty hung out with us. Like that's unreal. That's
Very
really cool.
super nice
Laid
guy.
back. And like he said, like he even said it. He's like he gained more than double his followers just for starting the METAKEY. And it's kind of crazy, like the growth that's been going on in his life as well. And you know, he's still super laid back.
2017, he's like, let's learn about crypto. And now he's like, oh, I have a venture fund. Like, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me? That's crazy. I'm over here like shitting myself because I got mail about my LLC in my dumb screen name. A venture fund. DCLBlogger venture fund. Unreal. Thank you all for hanging out. We will see you all next week. Lou, hit that button, buddy.
Take care, guys.
Whenever you want, Lou.